Okay, now these can be synced up on video with no dispute.
Barbecue. That's all you had to say was let's eat.
Okay, we'll continue on right now. Y'all got a letter. I put in the invoices, I think about 300 or some of them. And we asked for agenda items. It had to be about certain dates, okay? Agenda items are necessary. You gotta put it on, just like you would go to a commissioner's court, something like that, and try to not be on the agenda and raise your hand, they're gonna kick you out, okay? Agenda items give the board of directors a chance to research and try to get you the right answer of what you got, okay? That's why we ask for agenda items. Otherwise it turns into nothing, then a big shouting, and everybody bringing stuff up. That's why we have no agenda items for this. Also, I asked for nominations. We need 2 board members. Anymore, we have to vet board members. There's qualifications. They can have no felonies or moral obligations and things like that. You know, in other words, that is what we have to do. We have no nomination. We only have 1 nomination, actually, it's the board member. So what'll happen now is the board will be tasked to appoint. We can't operate with only 3 board members because we're a nonprofit corporation, and that's the main thing. Even though it says 6, the main goal is to keep the corporation active. We can never be non-active in a corporation. That's because that's what we are, is a corporation, nonprofit corporation. That's why it takes 3 people to incorporate. Anybody in business knows that. That it takes 3 people to incorporate. Okay? So this is the way we sit right now, okay?
So,
I was hoping we would get a couple nominations, you know? Yes.
so does that mean you're not going to stay true to your word and resign this year, like
No.
you had mentioned?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
First
okay.
of all, let me explain something. 2 things that people don't understand. A board of directors cannot resign. Just say it's anti-resign. First of all, he has to submit a letter to the board. That way his name has to come off everything from the periodic report. It has to come off that, like my name. It has to come off a lot of things, the checkbook, all this. So just because you get a spur of the moment, you know, what do you call it, temper tantrum, doesn't mean you can be held to it, okay? Just like people think that they can replace all the board members. You can't. First of all, to replace a board member, you've got to have a reason. A bona fide reason to replace them. What have they done? Otherwise, believe it or not, that could lead into a defamation of character lawsuit. Yes.
There's absolutely plenty of reason. We went over it all last year.
What?
How you were supposed to roll off in 2020. We didn't have a meeting, so it was discussed to keep everything the same.
Yeah.
And then you voided last year's meeting.
Yeah.
And then the second one, after we had a
Any
majority vote,
Yeah.
and then the second meeting, when there was almost unanimous vote.
The second meeting, if you remember, was a special meeting called by me. And the only thing that meeting was for was to discuss why I voided the meeting. So we don't need to backtrack on that. And you know that.
At any regular or special meetings,
What?
the members can vote to remove a board member.
But there's still, if you go down into the laws further, into the appendices, it tells you how to remove. Those little laws you got are only a portion of the law, okay?
So you don't have everything listed on the website then?
No, not a. I got 3 books that thick of POA laws, okay? And there's no reason
What are
to.
you referring to, Kevin?
I am referring to,
State property owner associations?
I am referring to, Section 3, removal of directors. At any regular or special meeting duly called by the Board of Directors, Any one or more of the directors shall be removed for following reasons.
So to show you what you gotta do to remove one. That's what I'm getting at. You can't just say, because I don't like a guy, you're removed.
Following
Let your buddies vote.
reasons,
Okay.
following reasons, a director shall be removed from the board by a 51% majority vote of the members present entitled to vote. Represented in person shall constitute quorum, but in no event shall consist of less than 10 members.
There's only actually about 3 reasons why you can remove a board member. One, that he doesn't show up for meetings. If he gets a felony, that's an automatic removal right there. And my question is, if anybody really has a problem when it comes to the legal laws, hire an attorney. That's
Well,
all I'm asking.
Since
Get an attorney, okay?
since you're not going to be true to your word last
No, I'm
year,
not gonna be true to my
then
word.
that's where we're going to go with it.
That was a spur of the moment, and I realized last year's meeting was a setup, it was a conspiracy to take over, I know that for a fact. But it doesn't matter, I don't care. I don't care.
So
I could look at Jimmy's tape and I could show you where we had non-members voting, man and wife both voting. You know, when I did the tally of a sheet like this over here, we only had 12 bona fide property owners here.
not in July though,
I don't care about July, that was a special meeting, that had nothing to do with
at
it.
any regular or special meeting.
What?
Kevin, can I read something here to
Hold on,
you?
I had my
Sure.
hand up. I called Joe out when you and your wife were board members, that's illegal.
My wife was not never a board member.
Terry and his wife were board members.
That's ancient history, bud.
It doesn't matter, you make.
You can read it out loud, but I'll go ahead and read it.
How do you know that wasn't the law back then?
I know it's not, we wouldn't, I hired a POA.
Oh, you didn't hire no POA, give me a break, you can't even afford a house for your family, let alone a.
That doesn't matter.
Is that just a cover sheet?
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the cover sheet there.
Bottom line is,
I don't think that was necessary.
Where can I? That's the other one there.
Okay. I got it on screen so we can. I mean, what in there's pertinent to us not being able to vote board members off.
Bylaws are the first source you should consult when you have questions about how your association is run.
Right, and when the bylaws aren't being abided by the directors for their terms, that's
Terms.
there are terms.
I'm sorry, 3 years. 3 years.
3 years, and when someone's supposed to roll off, there's not a meeting held, which was talked about, and obviously we couldn't because of mandates and all that stuff. Then the next year there wasn't a meeting, but it was they voted to keep everything the same, but there was no meeting, there was no minutes.
Are the ones that caused the meeting to be voided.
I didn't cause
Jeremy,
a meeting to be voided. I'm not the one that stood up here and said I quit.
that voided.
That didn't void anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Making a motion to remove directors is not. That's POA business.
If somebody wanted to have, this is a time they should have done it and requested somebody else to fill the position.
It does not say in there that has to be put on an agenda. It says at any regular or special meeting, a vote can be held.
Because this is going to be, right now, they're supposed to be taken off and somebody put their place. But nobody put in for it. They had to do that by the 27th of last month. So that they had time to go over their background and check their background.
That won't be their problem anymore because the membership wants them gone. They hold the meeting up until the end, vote in new members to board, and then we start the whole thing over again.
I'm no attorney. You're no attorney.
No. But I know
If you want to get legal advice, by all means, go hire.
well, and that's what we're going to have to do because clearly that was his plan the whole time, was just to string us along. Oh, I'm gonna roll off this year, and I don't want to do this anymore.
But we're not gonna go through this again. If you think it's wrong, go hire an attorney. Have us removed.
I'm still gonna bring it up for a vote. I'm still gonna bring it up for a vote.
But that's
Who's taking the minutes?
I am, I guess, because nobody else.
My
I mean,
wife is, but I don't know if anybody on
Again,
the board is taking minutes.
this is one more thing where they can say, oh, it wasn't a valid meeting.
Where's the agenda that we were supposed to do at the beginning of the meeting?
Exactly.
Richard's got all these felonies. He keeps saying it, keeps saying it.
Anything else?
Can I make a motion?
Make your motion.
We voted on it, but I'm taking things we have action. They were voted on it. We have to go back and vote on they'll come in and take signatures. Well, like me, I didn't nominate anybody, but yes, I'm not a girl. I don't know who I would put in. That's not what I was saying. But just proves to you what I wanted to do. I wanted to get it back to the real most of the that because now you have more property. Not big house, but I think you can now. It's just like me. I don't know everybody. How the hell am I going to nominate when I don't know?
Yeah, I moved from Austin.
You know, and I think that should be open.
Yeah, because then you're trying to check it out. That's what I thought.
Well, so what would need to happen is we would need to vote to remove, but then he would have to take and call for a special meeting, or the members can call for a special meeting where we can then move forward and vote new members.
As long as you send out
vote new boards.
and get a
But
petition.
by the 27th of last month, say you wanted to be president, by the 27th of last month, you would have needed to send Terry a letter saying you would like to be voted in as a nominee to take over.
Right.
But they had to be last month.
But that doesn't have
Nobody
any
did that.
that doesn't have anything to do with voting board members off. We can
Well,
vote board
this is
members
right-
off.
This is right now. Is his position is open, and so is his.
No.
So some, well, I
His
thought both
isn't.
of them.
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted to be president or vice president, they should have done it before last month.
Well, you can't vote for the president.
No.
The
No,
board
they-
members.
Yeah, that's something else we
Right now,
understand too.
it's-
Yeah, the people do not elect the
Yeah.
office.
So
They
if
have to come through
Kevin
the board.
wanted to be in this
His term.
position, we could have said, okay, Kevin, we would like to see if Kevin wanted to be nominated. He would have had to do that before the 27th of last month.
Right. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if we want
The whole
to.
thing is he wants to remove me from the board.
Yeah, but then you would
Everybody
have been
does.
No, who's everybody?
Everybody that voted last year, unanimous vote. The only person who voted for you was
90% of them are
Richard.
even property owners.
Where's your proof of that?
Huh?
Where's your proof of that in
Show
writing?
me the video. Have Jimmy
You'll
show
find
me
the video in Discovery.
Yeah, and
Kevin, did you
you'll see
nominate
Teresa and them
anybody?
raising their hand. You'll see.
I didn't know because I was super busy and it slipped my mind and then I wasn't even supposed to be here today. But that doesn't have any bearing
But
on.
it does, because you should have nominated people that you wanted to be on the board. Then you would have more of a say, just like everybody else had that opportunity to nominate
Then nobody
someone
did.
onto the board.
But-
right now, we need 2 people on the board just to make anything happen.
But
And nobody's
that's
stepping
one
up to do it,
that's
but
what I'm
they want to
saying.
sit here and have a pissing match at a meeting.
And nobody has submitted any agenda items.
Nothing.
Zero.
But they want to come to the meeting and fight it out, duke it out, but nobody is submitting anything before the meeting happens. What is the purpose?
Well,
What is the purpose?
I can't speak to that, but what I can speak to is that
But you failed to do it as well. If you wanted the board members off, you should have nominated somebody that you wanted on the board meeting to be put on the board meeting.
that doesn't have any bearing on voting people off. It does not say you must submit an agenda.
But the thing
No,
is,
it
That
says
would be
at
an
any
agenda item.
at any special meeting. It doesn't say it has to be put into an agenda.
Annual meeting.
Yeah, at any regular or special meeting. Is this a regular meeting?
This is an annual meeting.
This is the regular annual meeting. At any regular or special meeting.
Was there an agenda item sent in for that? No.
It doesn't have that stipulation in the bylaws. That's what I'm getting at. You guys don't follow the bylaws.
Everything from stepping stone. You know, you gotta use a lot of common sense on it. Like I say, Kevin, if you don't like it, hire an attorney.
Well, we will. That's what I'm saying. We
Well,
will.
that's fine.
But I'm still going to bring it up to vote the board members out today. And then, if if it works, then you call or we call.
Just like they did last year. And I hate to say you're kind of losing your grouping here, see?
No, you'd like to think so, but I would like to make a motion. If everybody's willing, I would like to make a motion that we remove some of the board of directors. So we have a second.
That's what I want. To see if we go back to that. So where it's gonna continue on. It is 3 years, right?
Then you get somebody to be reelected, you start the 3 years all over again.
well, like I said, I don't know about it.
But that, that's, if he's
Now, see, this
So,
I need somebody to make a motion.
so Terry, I've made a motion for voting off board members. Okay, so you are ignoring a motion on the floor to vote members
Not
off
put on the agenda.
at any regular or special meeting that board members may be removed. So there was a motion by myself, and there was a
You're
second,
not gonna say a thing.
and you
Okay,
are
if there's nothing else,
ignoring.
I have the
So-
power to gavel. If you don't like it, get an attorney.
Will do.